Hello, Groovy Gamers. How are we doing today? And today I want to make an interesting video like none I've made before. So this video is going to be about unique, weird, and kind of wacky games that I've played throughout the years. And they're games that I own. So these games have extremely weird and unique storylines and characters and gameplay and especially weird stories. So stay tuned if you like games that are kind of unique, weird, bizarre. I know I do. And I just wanted to share some of the games in my collection that I think are definitely fit those categories. So let me know in the comments, you guys, what weird, unique, bizarre, wacky games have you played? I would like to know, and tell me what games you guys are playing. So, first up, we have a game called Planescape Torment, and then it's packaged with a game called Icewind Dale. I never played Icewind Dale, so I can't speak of it, but Planescape Torment is definitely a very weird game. It's kind of a top-down RPG from the 90s, and I'm going to have to read the story of this. I've written some notes for this episode because there's no way to remember the stories for some of these games. They're so complicated. So, Planescape Torment, the first weird, bizarre, unique game on my list. The story is you play as the Nameless One. You begin the game by waking up in a mortuary covered in scars and tattoos, and your memory is completely gone. The Nameless One is known to be immortal and is at least several thousand years old. You awaken as a reincarnate, beginning life from a previous death. Now, if you guys didn't think that was already bizarre and weird, let me keep reading. Your character sets out on a quest to regain your lost memories and discover why you are immortal. A floating skull follows you around named Morty, who constantly will talk to you and was once human. Definitely a weird game. Very complicated story. If you guys do like story-driven games, definitely check more Planescape Torment out. But yeah, as you guys can get from that reading, it's definitely a little bit out there of a game. And that's number one on my list of games here. Next up, we have Stray. I love this game, but it definitely is unique because you get to play as a little kitty cat. And there's nothing too crazy about this game. It takes place in the far future where there's basically robots have taken over humans or that we know of. And you play as a little kitty cat who gets estranged and lost from her herd of other cats. And you must find your way back to your herd of cats and save this robotic city from, well, no, kind of save it, but also bring the robots in the city to freedom. Definitely an interesting game. I mean, you're playing as a cat. It's super platformy, super puzzly. It's fun. I can't say I've ever played another game like it. Next up, we have another puzzle game called Lumo. And this game is interesting because it is a fantastic platformer puzzler. If you guys like puzzle games, this is right up your alley. If you guys also like platformers, check this game out. So you play as a kid. Get this. This is such a weird story. You play as a kid who gets trapped in a video game, and then you have to try to fight your way through puzzles and levels to try to get yourself out of that video game. I know, super weird. And then it's weird because you're playing a video game. So you're playing the video game, and your character is a character who gets stuck in a video game. Like, it's some weird... It's like when you play this game, it feels like you're like in Inception or something, you know? Like the movie Inception. But yeah, check this game out. It's definitely worth it if you guys haven't played Lumo. I think another wacky game out of all the games I've played is definitely Crazy Taxi on the Dreamcast. This game has such a fun pop punk alternative soundtrack to it. But as you can see from the cover, I mean, it doesn't get any more wacky than that, you know? Like, it's Crazy Taxi and it's definitely crazy and wacky. Like, you're going around, you have a time limit to pick up these passengers, and literally you are a taxi driver going around town and trying to complete these drives as quick as possible and get bonus points. Definitely check out Crazy Taxi if you guys haven't played it. Next up, I want to talk about a game on the original Xbox called Voodoo Vince. And in Voodoo Vince, you play as Vince, a voodoo doll, who has the power, brought to life by zombie dust, who has the power to hurt himself, in turn to hurt his enemies. So basically throughout the game, you're using like pins and needles and like hammers and stuff to like stick into yourself, which is just such a weird gameplay concept, but it does work somehow. Who must rescue his creator, Madame Charmaine. So it's definitely an interesting game. It's a platformer. As you can tell, it's just such a weird gameplay concept, like, and wacky. You know, you're just like hurting yourself throughout the game. It's just such a weird game. But it definitely has a charm to it. It definitely has those cool original Xbox visuals. So check it out. Voodoo Vince. Next, I want to talk about the game Flower on PS3. And this game is definitely a unique game because you start the game playing at, well, the whole game you're playing as a flower petal. And then eventually you become a vast mass of flower petals, and you are going around and you are basically exfoliating and, growing more fields of flowers. And it's definitely a very calming and chill game. If you guys like relaxing games, check out any of these 3 games. But I think Flower might be the most chill out of all of them. It's just such an interesting game. It's kind of like Stray, where you're playing as a cat. Like, there's almost nothing else like it, you know? Yeah, I mean, who would know you'd ever be able to play a game as a flower petal, and then that flower petal turns dry meadows into flourishing meadows. I mean, it's just a very beautiful and interesting game. So, next up, this was definitely one of the first games in my life that I played that was very weird. I played this game when I was like, I don't know, between 10 and 13 years old, and it definitely struck me as a little weird. But it's fun. It's a fun game. It's called Geist. And yes, I know I don't have the real copy of this. It's the old, buyback seller copy. But here's my disc here. We got Geist. And in this game, it's so unique. You play as a ghost, like a paranormal ghost. You don't actually play as a human. You play as an actual ghost entity going throughout a facility and possessing objects to further levels. Like, so I know there's a boss battle in this game, for example, where there's a guy who's throwing grenades at you, and you think, oh, well, you just have to shoot the guy or something. No, you remember, you are actually a ghost in this game. You are a paranormal entity, and you have to actually possess these grenades and launch them back at him and explode yourself, and then go back and possess more grenades, and it's stuff like that. So it's definitely an interesting game. I think it was really ambitious first time. This is definitely an underrated game that not many GameCube owners know about or have played. Next, we have a game on the PS3 called Shadows of the Damned. In this game, you play as Garcia Hotspur in hopes of finding your kidnapped girlfriend who has gone to basically hell. And throughout the game, there's a weird talking skull that follows you around and kind of makes fun of you. And it's definitely a weird game. I mean, it's made by Grasshopper Manufacturer. And if you know anything about Grasshopper Manufacturer or Suda51, they make very unique, bizarre, visually striking, and interesting games. Um, they also made Killer 7 and No More Heroes, which are also two of the weirdest games I've played. Um, Definitely Killer 7. I don't own that game anymore, but that game is just like the craziest freaking. It's a trip. That game is a trip. If you've ever, you guys, whoever out there has played the game Killer 7, you know that game's definitely a trippy game. With like crazy visuals. So yeah, I like on the back here it says this game is one hell of a trip. Yes, it is. So next we are gonna talk about the Order 1886. Now, if you guys are not new to this channel, you know I've talked about this game a few times. It's definitely a unique game on the PS4. You play as I believe it's, what's his name? Daniel. And you are basically hunting werewolves in a Victorian style era. Sorry, you're hunting werewolves and vampires in the 1800s in Victorian Britain. And you'd say, oh, well, it's the 19th century, so their technology is super advanced. No, it's like the game has like high tech, some of it technology, and it's just very visually interesting, and the story's interesting, and yeah, it's definitely a unique game. Check it out. Another game I played as a kid that I thought was definitely a little weird, and I guess I wouldn't be surprised if, other Final Fantasy owners think this. This is Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, and in this game, it's not the traditional turn-based RPG. In this game, you are simply collecting crystals and joining a crystal caravan. Let me read the back of this. A deadly miasma has swallowed the land, and it's up to you to hold it at bay. Many dangers lie along your journeys, but you need not face them alone. Enlist your friends in a crystal caravan and make your mark together in the Crystal Chronicles. I just think it's not that weird of a game, but I think if you compare this game to the rest of the Final Fantasy games, it's definitely unique, and I don't think there's any other game like it in the series. And it also has very interesting visuals. Very bright visuals. Good game. Next up, we're going to talk about Silent Hill 4, The Room. And this game is definitely uncanny and unique in its horror. And you play as Walter Sullivan, the next up in the Silent Hill series. And I guess what's weird about this game is the premise and what makes the game going. So it's weird because you start the game and you're just a normal guy in this apartment, and right away you notice that there's certain things that are kind of off about this guy's apartment. Slowly, there's holes that start mysteriously showing up in the walls. There's ghosts that are coming out of the walls. There's weird occurrences, creepy things around the apartment complex. Next thing you know, there's a hole that's like a mile wide and you have to crawl through it. And then you go to a new dimension of Silent Hill. And every time you come back to the room, it's just slightly more weird. And that's kind of the fun part about this game. I always had fun about it. I always loved going to Silent Hill and then coming back and looking at Walter's apartment and just catching just small glimpses of how it was different, like eyeballs popping, like, yeah, it's so weird. Like eyeballs start popping out like randomly on the walls and throughout his apartment, and it's just such a crazy, uncanny horror game. It's definitely psychological, and some of the enemies are so weird and kind of disturbing in this game too. Like the monkey enemies, they make the creepiest noises, man. A lot of Silent Hill fans don't like this game. I think it might be one of the weakest games, other than Book of Memories, which is the worst Silent Hill game. If it's even considered a Silent Hill game that on the PS Vita. I never played it, but I knew it was horrible from what I saw of it. This game, I will say the only thing lacking from it is the ending. The developers, at least I played this game on normal, and I feel like this game is impossible to complete on normal or hard, because by the end of the game you need lots of first aid kits and health potions to complete it, and the game just does not give you enough health potions and first aid kits to complete the game, and you have to kind of go through this maze at the end of it. It's not fun, and most of the game is fun, but the ending of the game is really lacking. If you ever play Silent Hill 4, definitely play it on the easy mode so that you get extra health potions and first aid kits so that you can actually complete the game in the ending of the game. But check it out if you guys haven't played it. If you like Silent Hill, it's not the game I would go with first in this series. But if you're a hardcore fan already and you haven't played this game, pick it up, give it a try. It's also on the PS2 and I believe the PC. Next, I've talked about this game a lot on my channel. It's probably one of my favorite games. It's Conker's Bad Fur Day Live and Reloaded, and this is definitely a weird, wacky game. You play as a drunken squirrel who is going around a platforming adventure world trying to basically save the world and save your girlfriend and get through the game. The game makes tons of movie references to movies such as The Matrix, Saving Private Ryan, and Alien. And it's a super funny game, but it's definitely super weird. Like, there's times in the game where you literally have to get drunk and piss on people. Like, literally urinate on people to get through the level. It's definitely a wacky, weird, unique game. Pick it up, Conker's Bad Fur Day. Live and Reloaded. Couple more games here. We have Dante's Inferno. I always thought this game was really weird. That's funny. On the back it says, "Go to hell," just like the other game. In this game, it's definitely... the story is weird. It's kind of a beat 'em up like Devil May Cry. But it's weird because you are going through the 7 layers of hell and you're just trying to survive. And I just always thought that premise was so weird that you're playing as this like knight's, this knight, and he just has to go through these layers of hell. It's just such a weird religious concept, but yeah, definitely an interesting game. Next up, we have Okage, the Shadow King. And let me read a little bit about this story because it's definitely interesting, unique, and wacky. In Okage, the Shadow King, this game tells the story of Ari, a boy whose shadow is possessed by the evil king Stan, who was sealed in a bottle. Stan needs Ari's shadow to reclaim his stolen power and conquer the world, but his plans are complicated by a series of lesser evil kings and Ari's own unexpected popularity. This game definitely has a very unique graphic style, especially for the PS2, and it's a very easy RPG, but it's definitely wacky. Like, if you guys like Tim Burton, this game is a lot, in my opinion, like Nightmare Before Christmas, like Jack Skellington vibes. Like, it's definitely an interesting game, for sure. It's cartoony, it's fun. It's, like I said, Tim Burton meets cartoons. It's wacky, it's fun, it's unique, for sure. Check it out, Okage the Shadow King. Next up, we have Brutal Legend. And this game is notoriously voice acted by Jack Black and also Ozzy Osbourne, rest in peace. And it's definitely a weird game. You are a rock and roller who is fighting other bands and demons to try to conquer the underworld rock world. And it's just such an interesting, wacky game. And you are like hitting people with guitars and playing guitar solos, it's definitely interesting. I'm sorry this video is kind of long. We just have one more game to talk about. And that is definitely one of the most unique, weird games, and that's my big box PC version of Myst. And if you guys have never played Myst, I highly recommend it, but it is definitely a weird game. You play as the protagonist here, and you basically fall into a weird world that it almost feels like the game you're playing in a weird dimension. And you're solving puzzles, very difficult puzzles, by the way. And you're opening these books to these men who have trapped their memories in the books and are telling you to save them. And in all honesty, I've never beat this game, but I really do love it. If you guys are on the edge of playing it because maybe the visuals are old, this game is almost 30 years old. It's easily maybe 30 years old. Play Real Myst. If you have Apple or iOS, it's on the Apple Store. I believe it's on PlayStation 2, but also it's basically the remaster of this game, and it really does update the visuals to more of a modern setting. I mean, even by today's standards, the visuals are a little bit out of date because Real Myst, I think, launched in like 2013. But don't quote me. I want to say there's a remaster of the remaster. So definitely check out Myst. And that was 16. I know I was going to talk about 15, but it is 16 games. This is more of like an honorable mention. Well, whatever. It's the 16th game, not the honorable mention. So thank you guys for tuning in, and subscribe if you have not. Hit that bell notification icon if you've not already subscribed. And thank you so much for tuning into my channel and watching my channel. Leave comments if you guys would like. And I hope you guys have a groovy rest of your week or weekend, whichever. And have a great day.